Hello, it's Wee Claire here for Scotland Comic Con, and I'm here with Doug Cockle, who plays Geralt in The Witcher, and we're here to talk about all things The Witcher and what he's excited about for Scotland Comic Con. Hi, Doug. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you. Very pleased to be here and looking forward to Scotland Comic Con.
What is your favourite thing about doing Comic Cons in general?
Uh, there's lots of really great things about Comic Cons. Um, what I love is just the positive vibes that tend to prevail at these things. You know, everybody's there just to celebrate the things they love, and it's just such a, you know, my experience anyways, is such a positive atmosphere, and people are just getting their geek on and having a great time. I mean, what's not to like about that?
And I wanted to ask because obviously it's for nerds and geeks and all sorts. What kind of nerd are you, Doug?
Uh, I suppose, a semi-closet nerd. Everybody's a nerd. You know this, Claire. Everybody's a nerd, really, about something. You know, if you know people who are big fans of sports or something like that, you know, they're nerds too. They're just nerds about something else. So yeah, no, I'm a big fantasy fiction and role-playing game nerd. I grew up reading Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Dragon Riders of Pern, The Wheel of Time, you know, all kinds of stuff.
So is that what kind of drew you to The Witcher, would you say? Like the
Well,
fantasy
no, what
element?
drew it was, I mean, The Witcher was one of those wonderful things. I think probably one of those once or twice in a lifetime, if you're really lucky, kind of things. I just went into an audition for another game because I do a lot of games. And I went in, and uh, Boris from CD Projekt Red was describing the world of this game to me, and I was like, "Oh, cool! It's fantasy fiction." And but it was unlike anything I mean, it was very like and unlike anything I'd ever really experienced before. So what ended up drawing me into the Witcher world was the those similarities, but also those very distinct differences. You know, the influence of the you know, the Polish um, myths and you know, creatures of legend and stuff like that. So all that kind of stuff was completely new to me. So I mean, I had no idea what a Leshian was, or a Leshy, or whatever, you know, you want to call them. So once I got to know the world a little bit, what drew me in was that wonderful, here's another fantastic, vibrant fantasy world to explore and get to know. That's what I love.
And
That's my nerddom.
can I ask what the Witcher community is like? You know, the people that come to see you at Comic Cons. Is there a certain like vibe of the people?
I can't say that the Witcher community has a unique vibe. I mean, every community has its own vibe. They're all interested in that particular thing, aren't they? So the people I tend to meet at Comic Cons are people who have come to my table or come to my panel or whatever it is because they love the Witcher world. Um, and you know, I don't generally go to the other panels for other things, for anime or things like that, but only because I'm busy. So I imagine that all geeks and nerds are exactly the same about the thing that they're geeky and nerdy about. They just love it and they want to celebrate it. And you know, when they come and talk to me, quite often they're very nervous, um, because you know, the game or the books or both or the TV series or whatever it is means so much to them. And so sometimes they find it a little difficult to get words out of their mouth. But I like to think I have techniques for helping people get over that.
And what are your techniques for helping people? Just because I can understand their nervousness, you know,
Yeah.
just to help them relax a little bit when somebody comes up to meet you. What would you say?
Well, generally speaking, I mean, most people aren't so nervous that they can't speak. But when I do have those moments, I mean, I've stepped around the side of the table and give them a hug. I reminded them that everybody gets up and poops. There's nothing to be nervous about here. Um, and I just try to generally be as open and friendly as I possibly can. I mean, you know, they've stood in line at my table, and you know, wanting to just have 2 minutes of telling me how much they love the game. And so I just try to be open to their energy and their joy and everything that they're bringing with them, and acknowledge it, and hopefully send them away feeling that I've genuinely interacted with them, which I have, if I'm doing my thing correctly.
And what do you get asked the most, would you say? What do people really want to know when they come to meet you?
Well, the most common question is yen or tris.
Right.
That's the one that's always burning at the front of everybody's mind, it seems. I have had other questions, but that's the most common one. And another one that's really common is, how long did it take you to record all of that?
How long did it take you to record all of that? Then what do you say to them?
Well, if we're talking about Witcher 3, and if we include the DLCs, then Witcher 3 with Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, and all the pickups and everything else, I think it was about 3.5 years.
Oh,
I think.
oh my God, that's a long time. My
Yeah, but
goodness.
I mean, I'm including like the very first E3 trailer kind of thing,
Right.
which I think we recorded not long after Witcher 2 finished recording. So, we're going back a ways.
Right. Okay. And can you remember maybe an incident with a fan that stood out to you that was possibly the most positive or loveliest fan interaction you've had that's stood out?
Oh, well, I've had a number of really, really, I mean, it depends on what you mean by lovely interactions. You know what I mean? I mean, there have been people who've just been so excited, and their joy is just, it's catching. You can't help but feel it yourself. So there's that kind of lovely, but there's also moments that are, yeah, as an artist, it's really lovely to know when something that I have done, and any artist will say this, or something along the same lines. It's really nice to know when something that I've done or been a part of has positively affected someone else's life in a moment of horror or doubt or misery or whatever it happens to be. There was this one young woman who came up to me at a convention. She'd been waiting in line. She was really nervous. She couldn't talk. She was shaking from head to toe. And this was one of the ones where I just said, "It's okay. It's all right. I'm human. We can, and I stepped around and I gave her a little hug. And she just said, when she finally could speak, she said, "It just means so much to me. You helped me get over the death of my mother."
Oh my God, that's really touching.
Yeah, and she told me a little bit about it, and I can't remember all the details. This is 5 years ago now, I think it was. And but it was one of those things. It was quite a sudden thing. So she didn't really get to say her goodbyes, and she was really, struggling with lots of mental health issues. And I think there was something about her family not being terribly large either. So the loss of her mom was a huge loss in her life. And she just said that being able to immerse herself in the Witcher game, and feel like she was part of that family, it just helped her find her way out of that. I mean, I'm making it a more elaborate explanation that she gave me, but that was the essence of what she told me. So, it's in moments like that when, because we do our lines, voice actors, we do our lines, we play our characters, and then we go away and we see the game come out and we see the reaction to it. What we don't often see is that super personal involvement that people might have, on a deeply personal level. And it's not that the game cured her; it just gave her an outlet. It gave her a way to forget, and to develop a different thing altogether. So, yeah, and I'm just one small part of that. That's one of the more powerful moments I've had with a fan.
That's a really, really sweet, amazing thing that what you do can touch so many people. So that's lovely.
Mm.
I now have got no interesting segue apart from saying, now I'm going to ask you about famous Scottish people.
Oh,
So here's the next part. I've been asking
David Tennant.
Correct. There you go. Correct. I've been asking everyone I've been speaking to for Scotland Comic Con to answer some Scottish flavoured questions, and everyone's
Yeah.
little Q&A has been a little bit different. I think you've had an easier time than some of the rest, so be glad that today I was tired. And I've just got some very easy questions. This is just
Okay.
about famous Scots. It's just about
All
famous
right.
Scots. So I'm going to ask you these questions, and you're going to tell me what they're famous for or what they did. Okay, so I hope you know your history, or
I hope so
somewhat.
too.
Okay, so this is question number one. What did John Logie Baird invent?
John Logie Baird.
Yes.
I've never even heard the name.
Oh, oh,
What did John Logie Baird? Haggis?
no! Do you want another? Do you want another go? What? I'll give you two more
Uh,
guesses.
the steam locomotive?
It is a machine of sorts. You're getting closer.
A whiskey still?
No, it's the television.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. Fun fact number one.
Yeah, there you go. Question number two. What was Alexander Fleming famous for?
The name's familiar, but I'm drawing a complete and utter blank.
You can have three guesses. Go for it.
Can you give me a hint? Give me a little hint.
Something that has helped billions of people around the world.
Well, I know it's not penicillin. Unless it is.
Is that your final answer? Do you want to? Are you submitting it as your final answer?
I'm pretty sure it was someone else who invented penicillin, but maybe I have it wrong. It was a female scientist, wasn't it, who invented penicillin? But maybe she just discovered it. Is it penicillin?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There you go. What war? This is question number three. What war did William Wallace lead? What was the war all about?
William Wallace. Well, it was all about freedom for Scotland. It was all about. He was also wasn't he in support of James the First?
Oh, now we're going too deep for me. You got the first part right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it was about Scottish independence.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you got two right. You've got two right so far. Number four. What is Alexander Graham Bell a famous inventor of? The clue is in the name.
Is he? Well, I know what he's famous for. It's the telephone. But he also did something else. That wasn't he part of developing the telegraph as well?
Oh.
And I think he did something else really important, and I'm just drawing a blank what it was. But the telephone was the big one.
Yes, there you go. There. Oh my goodness, you're flying through these. You are like everyone. I mean, you are getting an easier time of it. I'm not gonna lie. The other ones were hard. The other ones were hard. Question number five. This is the last question. Who is Robert Burns? Robbie Burns. Who's Robbie Burns?
Robert Burns is one of the most lauded and famous Scottish poets.
Perfect. Yes, well done. You got 4 out of 5 questions right, which is better than anyone has done so far. So
But you said it was easy, so that just makes me kind of somewhat interesting, cool.
Look, just take it.
Right.
Just take it.
Okay. That was hard. No, you're kidding, aren't you? That was the hardest one anybody's had. Everybody else was just a complete,
It was a doddle. It was a walk in the park. It was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And finally, what are you looking forward to the most about coming up to Edinburgh for Scotland Comic Con?
Oh, well, of course, there's always Edinburgh, because Edinburgh is just such a fantastic city to explore. Not that I'll be doing a lot of exploring, of course, because I'll be busy doing the Comic Con, but I always love going to Edinburgh. And yeah, I think one of the things that's really exciting about going to Scotland this time is, I've done a lot of conventions in the US and a few now in England, and one in Ireland, one in Dublin. But I always enjoy going to Scotland. I find the Scottish people just wonderful. And that's, I think, what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that I call it Gaelic energy. I don't know if that's really what it is. It's just, it's a nice romantic way of putting it. But there's just a kind of a jolly, good banter kind of thing about being in Scotland. I've always enjoyed going to Scotland.
Yay! Well, we can't wait to have you for Scotland Comic Con. Thank you very much for your time and well done on your historical knowledge.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Claire.